in southern Tasmania. Thanks for joining me today. As people jump on, just bear with me. I'm excuse me, going to check that everything is catching up. I should have done this before we jumped on. Apologies for this, but anyway, I will keep going as people jump on. Nice to see a few people on already. Hope you're having a great day. If you're anywhere in eastern Tasmania, I hope you're actually staying warm. It's been very, very chilly down here in southern Tassie. I suppose we are pretty close to the Antarctica down here, so it's not surprising that it's a little bit chilly. So that's got that shared. Sorry, the way Facebook is these days, I have to manually share over to my Facebook group. But I've done that now. Excuse me, I'll put my iPad up here so I can watch the comments. So it's great to see you all on. I'll just go over to the group. No, I'll stay in the page. Okay, if you're watching in the Facebook group, hopefully you can see all that. I know you can on the page, and I think I'm going through to YouTube as well. So I think we've got them all covered today. So wherever you happen to be watching from, please pop on and say hi. I can see Krista's already said good morning. Good morning, Krista. Okay, so this card has been so popular on my Facebook page of late. I popped up this particular one, which is using the gorgeous Mediterranean Blooms Designer Series paper with the fussy cut lemons there. It's a secret message card, and that's exactly what it is. It's a secret message card. So obviously it looks like your normal belly band sort of gatefold card when you have it open like that. If you carefully get the belly band off, you have to be careful because there's a fair bit of stuff happening behind the scenes there. Get the belly band off. You can open it up. Looks like a lovely double-sided sort of gatefold there. You close it like this and you open it, and there's this like secret compartment in the middle where you can pop your extra message. Okay, so as I say, it looks like that. It's just normal. You look on the back, it's not even showing on the back. I kept on thinking, wow, the rest of it must be on the back, but it's not. It's tucked away inside there somehow. I cannot work out the physics of this card. I honestly can't. But it's one day I'll sit down and actually trace how it works. It's just magic. I'm just accepting that it's magic. Okay, so I picked this one up. Sam Chilcott from Mixed Up Crafts did one during the week, so I thought I'm going to do that with our Damping Up stuff. She actually has a die for it, so it cuts out all the pieces in one go. But I've just used the measurements, and I'm using a little bit of my own problem solving, and I've worked out how to make it with our A4 cardstock and our particular product. So there it is. That's the one that I showed during the week. I hope a lot of you have seen that one and commented on it, which is wonderful. So the one I'm going to show you I'll show you today is another one the same size. It uses the Take to the Air Designer Series paper. And as I was playing with the Mediterranean Blooms one, I was thinking that secret compartment there would be perfect if you wanted to give somebody a surprise, amount of cash or a gift card or something like that. And as I was searching around for a gift card, I have a couple of them lying around that are empty, but I use them for demonstration purposes. As I was searching around for that, I found my travel money card, which is empty now, but it's the one I took when we went to Mexico. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to give somebody a travel card? So say you were giving somebody some money to take away. They'd retired and they're heading off, or a student or something that's heading off for their big gap year overseas. Give them that and hide it away in a card like this, in our secret message card. So it's not just a secret message, it's a secret gift as well. So I thought, what would be better than the Take to the Air Designer Series paper? So I'll show you all that in a second. Again, we very carefully take off, and it likes to get trapped on that little bottom bit there. Take off our belly band, and we have, and I'm really pleased that I managed to use the stamp set that I have in this, because it's in my pile of shame and I feel that I should be using it more. You open it up and you see again our beautiful sort of gatefold card there, and I'll stamp that. That's the Watercolour World stamp set that I've used there, but I thought what would be more perfect than that. And then again you open up our card And in there, you've got the travel money card. There we are. So it actually fits down into one of those little slits there, and it's a bit of a secret. So I'll just show you how I've done that. There's nothing too fancy about that. The only thing I've really done differently is made the card, because it comes out the back there, you can see the yellow of it poking through. I've made it more secure by adding an extra little pocket there that it can slip down into. Otherwise it just sort of hangs there in air, so it's not very secure and not very safe and not very secret. So yeah, so that was my idea, how to take this little one a wee bit further, and that's the one we're going to make together today. But while I was playing, I thought I'll do this one is a 5.5 square. So these both that and the Mediterranean blooms are 5.5 inches square. I thought, let's see if we can do it in a smaller sort of normal card version, and this is the one I came up with. This is just a 4 by 5.5. Again, open up take off your belly band, and you've got the little pinks with the ducks there. So that's from the ducky paper, which I can't remember the name of it right now. Somebody will have their catalogue handy and tell me. And again, it's got the secret compartment there with the extra. So when you do, you're going to have to show, if you give this to someone, you may have to give them a bit of a tutorial about how to actually open the card. But if what you do is you push the spine together, and you can see it opens pretty much by itself. So, and to close it again, you have to have those together and open it. So if you try to open it when it's not, when the backs are not together, it won't work. It's sort of locked. You have to have it firm, and then it'll open. Anyway, so that's a smaller one. So I'll pop the measurements for this one up as well, in case you want to do a smaller version. But the measurements, what we're going to do today is the bigger version, the 5.5 square. Okay, so this one here. Okay, so there we are. So let's get started. In the event at the moment, I have the little handwritten note with all the measurements on there. I'll pop it into excuse the crumpling of the paper. I know it's quite noisy. I've got that there. I'll write them into the description of the YouTube video and the Facebook as well. So yeah, but I've just written that there. That's for the 5.5 square card. And look, to be honest, it is so deceptively easy. I will show you how you make the basic. How you make the basic mechanism is just like so easy. And then what you add to it is probably what makes it a wee bit more complicated. Okay, so this is for the 5.5 version, 5.5 inch square version. So what you need is just this piece of cardstock here. This is the card base. You can see that's the main sort of gatefold part of things. So this is 11.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 2 3/4, 5.5, and 8 1/4. So basically at 2 3/4 intervals, 2 3/4 inch intervals. So 2 3/4, 5.5, and 8 1/4. So that it just takes it down to quarters. Okay. Now the thing with this card, I've got a bit of wobbling happening here. The thing with this card is you need to loosen those folds. And when I say loosen, I mean they need to be able to flex in every direction. So grab your whatever you use to burnish, and you need to burnish them so that they're, as I say, loose in every direction, because this card has to basically not just close up one way, it has to close and open two ways. And so these little scores all need to be lovely and flexible. So they need to go both ways. And that sort of goes against the grain for me a little bit. I like my scores nice and tight, so the card sits nice and flat and folds sharply. But this way we're going to go both ways. So when I say you're basically weakening it a wee bit in each of those three scores. Okay, so that's so flexible now. it's like really rubbery. So that's important at this stage, and we do that a couple of times through the construction as well. So you need now to grab your trimmer, and we're going to add some slits in there where we add the extra sort of dimension here. Okay, so grab your trimmer. And what you need to do is decide how you want your card, how many of these little sort of internal blocks do you actually want. I'll do the same as this one, but you can vary it if you want to. And if you have a look on Pinterest, there's lots of cards where they have different numbers of blocks up and down. So when I mean blocks, I mean these areas here. So this one is 3/4, 2 3/4, 4 3/4, and then that's a 3/4 at the bottom. So that's where I've got the slits: 3/4, 2 3/4, and 4 3/4. So that's what I'm going to do on here. So the slits just basically go from the first score to the bottom, the top score to the bottom score. That's where your slits go. Okay, right. So I said, got stuff here. Got stuff happening on in the background at the moment. We're organising, and I don't know if any of my ladies are watching, my Tassie ladies who usually pop on and watch me. We're organising a really nice, well, hopefully it's going to be good, a Tassie-wide demonstrator meeting. Probably meet halfway. Everyone who says halfway usually means Campbelltown. But I've been corresponding with a convention centre in Campbelltown to try and get us a room so we can have our statewide meeting. So, yeah, and it's quite exciting. I'm looking forward to catching up with the people from up north and the northwest and the northeast. So watch, if you're not part of our Tassie Demonstrator Facebook page, please join or request to join, because that's where all the details in the RSVP, etc. are going to be. Okay, so I'm just going to score this. As I mentioned, the first one is at 3/4 from the top. So from the top score to the bottom score to the top score. And when I say score it, probably best to take it to the far edge of the score line. Sometimes when you score things, you'll just take it to the score line. Probably in this case, it's best to take it to the far edge of the score line, if that makes sense. Because, I mean, score lines aren't particularly, they're not just a line, they do have some width, if that makes sense. They're not just infinitely skinny. They do have a width of a certain amount. So take it to the far edge of that. So at 2 3/4, again from top score to bottom score, and then at 3/4 from the top edge. Okay, so now you've got a wobbly, slitty thing happening. Okay, right, so for the moment we don't need that. I don't think we need it again. I've got everything else cut and ready to go. Okay, so we've got that. So the thing that makes this happen, if we just left it at that, nothing special would happen. It's just a gatefold card with a few slits in the middle. What we need to grab is 2 more pieces of our base card cardstock. Oh, this is pecan pie, by the way. It's a pecan pie boho blue combo I'm using that matches beautifully with the paper, the Take to Sky paper. So this is our card base. What we need to do is we grab 2 more pieces of cardstock. They're both 2 3/4 wide, and we're going to weave them in and out of our little slits that we've created. So, and this is where you need to be fair but firm but fair. Is careful but firm, because it's the second one particularly does take a little bit of I'm not going to say forcing, but gentle firmness. So I'll do that again. So just weave it through, so below the first one, above the second one, below the third one, and then above the last one. So it sits in there like that. So that one goes on that side, and this is where we need to be a little bit firm with the other one. This one's going to go the opposite, so it's going to go above the first one, below the second one. And this is why I said also to take your scores right to the end of the score line. It just gives it that little bit more space to flow through. to fit through. And you do, as I say, have to be a little bit firm and not forceful, just firm. And so above, below, above, and then below the last one. Come on, you. There we go. Okay. So you've just woven those in between those little slits that we made. And again, now we need to make sure that with those pieces of cardstock in there, that everything folds every way. And we've already made them fairly loose, so they're quite accepting, but just need to confirm that. Just make them behave themselves a little bit more so it folds nice and flat like that. Okay. Okay, so that is fundamentally our card. I mean, I know it's fairly plain at this stage, but you've created a wonderful secret message effect. My iPad's just about to run out of juice, so I might miss the comments over there for now. So there's our gatefold. So it folds down like that. And what we do, bring those two spines together at the back and it comes open. Isn't that amazing? As I say, I am going to work out the physics one of these days. So that's our inside secret message spot. So there we are. And so it's just the addition of those two woven bits that give it that sort of that hidden inside part. Okay, so let's get organising with the layers. As I say, that's the easy part. I mean, it's impressive, but it's, yeah, there's not much to it as far as weaving those things through and getting your measurements right. Here we are. I have all the bits and bobs here. And I'm going to use, as I say, the Watercolour World stamp set, which is lovely because I love it and I bought it and I thought, but I've hardly ever used it. I'm also going to use the cross-hash embossing folder, which is from the basic 3D embossing folder pack, the one that has 3 in them, so it's the cross-hash one. That's the one we're using. Okay, so I've got some layers, and as I say, I will pop all the measurements of all the layers up onto the description, so if you need if you want to refer to them there, they'll be there. So I'm not going to go too crazy about getting everyone confused at this stage. But I will say I've got two different patterns of the designer series paper. I've got the sort of the cute pecan pie cross-hashy one or plaid-y one. I've got 2 of those and they've been layered onto boho blue. So they're going to go either side of this is the inside of the card, so they're going to go either side. Then I've got the cute aeroplanes. They're also backed onto boho blue and that's going to be on the front of the card. So I'll pop those aside for a minute. We might as well just add them all as we go so I don't lose anything. Yes, I think Krista just said it's magic. Yes, it is, Krista, it's magic. Part of me doesn't want to know how it works. I just want to be amazed every time I use it. Like magic, because if I work out how it actually, I mean, it's obviously there's a logic to it, but if I work it out, it's going to take the magic out. So I might just leave it as magic. We've got either side there, we've got our plaid. And I've got so many of these. These are the boho blue layers to pop inside. So we've got for the inside, for the main inside we've got them, but we've also got them for the secret inside as well. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is where we're going to pop our Watercolour World. Those are for the inside there. And then I've got smaller strips of boho blue, which I've already popped through the embossing folder, and they're going to go top and bottom like that. Make sure I put them all the same way, that way. It's a skinny one. Okay, so we're going to pop these down as well. So I'll pop them now. Headed out to take Mum to the doctor's this afternoon. She's being very stubborn at the moment. She's telling me she can go to the doctor's by herself, and of course she can. She's a grown woman. But generally when she goes to the doctor's by herself, she misses half of what he says or misunderstands the other half of what he says. And so none of us actually end up knowing what's going on. And with her various health conditions, it's just best to have a second pair of ears, I think. So as much as she's telling me she can do it on her own, and don't get me wrong, I let her do a lot of things that's usually against my better judgment. She had a recent altercation with a wheelbarrow in the garden, moving soil around. She does get to do those things, even though we're all here to help her, but she likes to do them on her own, and ended up having an accident with the wheelbarrow, but she's fine. Maybe a better word is mind-blowing. There you go, yes. My husband would scoff. Yeah, we're mind-blown. Our minds are blown by a card. There we are. So there's our 4 little internal sections there. We might do the watercolour world now, and I'll just show you how I've done that. We'll pop it aside. As much as our minds are blown by it, we'll put it aside. Now, as you can see with the original card, wherever it is, I've got the 4 corners of the world on each of those corners. So I have actually stamped them on a single piece of cardstock and then embossed them and then cut them up to put them on there. So that's what I'm going to do again. Okay, so the watercolour world is, yeah, as I say, it's in the shop. I've used it a couple of times since I've had it. It carried over from the last catalogue, which is nice. Means I get the chance to use it a wee bit more. And it's one of those stamp sets that I like the idea of it, but when it comes to actually using it, I struggle. You know how you go, I really love the look of that, but I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, and that's what this one is for me, a grey granite. So I'm going to do the world in grey granite, and I'm going to pop it onto that. I've got the single piece of cardstock, so as I say, I'm going to stamp it on this. Measurements will be up later, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Stamp it onto this, emboss it, and then cut it up to put it onto our 4 corners of the world. So grey granite there. This is my F block, so it's quite huge and a little bit hard, unwieldy sometimes. I'm going to pop the world on. I'm going to try and miss as little of the world as I possibly can, try and get most of it on there. The other one I actually missed New Zealand. Got most of Alaska but missed New Zealand, so this time I'm going to try and get New Zealand on. And I may well miss a little bit of North America, let's see. Let's see how that goes. Okay, give it a little bit of firm down. There we are. So that's our world. Did miss a little bit of, what's that top bit there? Alaska, is it? Missed a bit of Alaska. And anyway, so that's our world there. So what I'm going to do is I will grab the embossing folder and I'll pop it through the embossing folder with that. So I want just checking, I'm going to make sure I put the right size up. So that's the pointy side up, so I want it that way. So I'll pop it through the embossing folder now, just bear with me. So there it is. That just adds a little bit of extra to it. I think I quite like the effect of that. It makes it look a bit more like a parchment or a sort of a oldie worldy map sort of thing. So that's cool. So we'll pop that through. I'm going to chop it down now. I've got to remind myself how big I've got to make it. 8 white layers. 1 3/4 so 2.5. So that means that should be 5, yes. 2.5. And 1 3/4, which means that must be 3.5, yep. Now, if you were making this particularly for someone who was heading to a certain part of the world, like they were heading to North America or they were heading to wherever, you could probably highlight that part of the world. If you happen to be using the Watercolour World stamp set, you could make sure you got Australia or New Zealand or North America, wherever they were heading, make sure you got those in there, or make even highlight it some other way. There we are. So that's the world there, the 4 corners of the world. Now, I am going to stamp the sentiment after the embossing. I know normally I would stamp the sentiment first, but I wanted to get it into the right. I've actually embossed that upside down. I wanted to get it into the right positions with the once I'd cut it, I wanted to get it into the right spots. So I'm cheating a wee bit here, and it might be a stamp set that not many of you have, but I thought it was absolutely perfect. This is the little stamp set that we got with the travel kit. There's a kit where it has, like, you make the cards. It's like one of our card kits, and this is the little sentiment that came with it. So you can see it's really little. Whatever sentiment you have at home that's appropriate for a travel card, you can use them. But these are absolutely perfect, so I thought I just had to use them. So one I'm going to put up here on the top left is Life is a Journey. Now, the travel card kit is available at the moment. So if you love this sentiment, you can buy the kit. It's a current online exclusive. But it is, as I say, it is currently available, and you do get 9 great cards, travel themed cards with it. So Life is a Journey. There we are. Because I've used that particular embossing folder, it's not it's got not huge ridges on it, so it's actually stamped quite well. The sentiment's stamped quite well. As you probably know, trying to put a sentiment over something that's already been embossed is sometimes a bit tricky. But because it's a nice, smooth sentiment, it's not too bad. And the other one, which I've popped onto the block quite crooked, is Travel It Well. So Life is a Journey, Travel It Well will be down here. There we are. So those now can go onto our card. And I'll fit the world back into its rightful place, into its configuration. Yeah, all the way it is on the stamp anyway. Depends how you look at the world, I suppose, as to whether that's the right way of it or not. Okay, so that's their inside. Okay, so let's close it up, open it up, and we'll do the secret message part of it as well. So again, I've got some squares of blue, and I've already popped the designer series paper onto them. Just make sure I pop them the same way as I did on the original. So this is just another piece of that Take to the Sky paper. It's got the little clouds on it, which I think are cute, and they match the colours really well. So I've got 2 of those set onto the same size balmy blue, boho blue backgrounds there. So we'll just add those now. Make sure the clouds are up the right way. I don't want my clouds upside down. So diagonally opposite each other like that. Okay. Oh, I've also got just a white piece, the same colour as the Designer Series paper, a white piece there set onto our boho blue as well, and that's going to sit here. I haven't done anything special now to turn it into the gift card holder. Absolutely nothing. This is exactly what you'd do whether you were taking it to be a gift card holder or not. This last one I'm going to pop the follow-on sentiment. The adventure is this adventure is just the beginning. Yes, this adventure is just the beginning. So as I say, it's a great sentiment for people heading off on their gap year or their big tour of Europe, wherever it is that people go these days for their big adventure. This adventure is just the beginning. And I do have to, I'm going to emboss this one as well. Don't know why I didn't do it first. Anyway, I'll pop this one through the embossing folder as well. So it's on its own little backing of boho blue there. And then onto the remaining spot, we've got our little, same as the other inside, there's got our little strips of boho blue to go top and bottom. So I'll pop those on as well. And then I'll grab the gift card, travel card from the other one. I'll show you how to pop that in there. And then a belly band. Now, I think this card definitely needs the belly band, although some people will go, oh no, that's fine, I'll just give it as it is. I think it needs the belly band because we've given them such a flexiness. I think it needs the belly band because it holds it in place, it holds it flat. Whereas if you gave it to somebody just like that, we haven't put the outside one on yet, it'd flex like that, it'd be a bit flexy. You could give it to them like that, I suppose, like a folio or something. But then when you open it up, it goes straight to the secret. So you don't want that. You want them to find the secret afterwards. Okay, so let's do here. So as far as our little travel money goes in there, this is part of I've left this one white so you can write on it. Everything else has been embossed, right? So I thought leave this one plain so you can write, to Bob from Mary, whatever it is that you wanted to write. So this is our travel card. So if I pop that travel card just on there, so maybe I made a little pocket inside and just popped it in there, close it up, it won't open. It actually forces it closed and the magic doesn't happen, which frustrated me no end when I realised that. So there's something in there that happens there that by putting that just straight in there stops it from happening. But if you actually pop it behind, she says, trying to make it behind, if you chop it behind, come on, what are you doing? Sorry, there. Hang on, it's got to go behind this one. I've done it slightly different. It has to go behind that one. It's a bit of a bummer. Anyway, it's okay. I'll leave it at that. If it goes behind and you close it up, it will work. Okay, so it has to actually go behind the and into one of those slits, so it's sort of woven the same way as the rest of the card. So if you pop it in there, it's fine. The thing will work. Whereas if you just did a pocket that just went straight over the top of everything, it wouldn't work properly. So yeah, so as long as you then pop that in there. So I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. I can pop it in there and today you've got a magic gift thing. But then when you open it up and you look behind, you can see the rest of it there. So it's a little bit insecure to my liking. I thought maybe I could put a glue dot on the back and actually stick it in. But I thought, well, that's a bit not too good as well, because this is supposed to be secret. So we don't want to actually see it. We don't want to see it until the big reveal, do we? We want it to be revealed there. We don't want it to be revealed there. So what I've done is I've grabbed just another piece of pecan pie or matching colour. Just bear with me. I don't think I actually got it here. Oh yeah, I didn't cut it. But I'll grab a matching piece of pecan pie. Cut myself a little rectangle of it. It's got to be 2 3/4 wide and say 2, 1 3/4. I'll make it 1 1/2. So it's got to be 2 3/4 wide. That's, you know, and it can be whatever height you think is secure. So I'm going to say 1 1/2 there. Let's assume that that's right. There goes my glasses. I'm going to actually pop that on the back there with some double-sided tape all the way around, and it forms a little pocket for our gift card to actually slip into. So it's hidden to a large degree, especially once we bring our belly band in. It's actually hidden, and it's also secure. So I think I feel a lot more comfortable with that than just letting it sort of hang in the off chance that, you know, A, it's going to get seen, and B, it's going to fall out. So I'll just grab some double-sided tape. Take the double-sided tape right to the very edge. Even use the skinnier double-sided tape if you have it at home. This is 6mm, this one. It's that 1/4 inch double-sided card, double-sided tape. And I'm going to leave the travel card actually in there while I place this over. So there we are. That just gives our travel card a little bit of security there. You can bring it in and out and just make sure it fits into that little slot at the back, and it's not going anywhere at all. There we go. So that's our little secret on the inside. Hopefully you like that as an idea. So you go bang, and then ta-da, you've got a message, and then you write, you know, your greeting on there. Okay, so let's do the outside, and as I say, I think it definitely needs a belly band. So the belly band is, again, pecan pie cardstock. It's got a layer of the boho blue and 2 tiny pieces, inch and 1/4 square pieces on either end of the boho blue. So I have actually, what I do when I do belly band for this one, I just cut the 1 1/2 wide piece of pecan pie and just manually fit it around the card rather than sort of being too precise where I score it. Just manually fit it around the card and firm it into place so you know you've got a good fit. I mean, otherwise you end up, it can be too big, it can be too narrow, and it's going to be too tight, or it's going to fall off. We don't want either of those things. So that is where I want it. I'll grab some glue and glue that in place. My iPad's just gone off, so apologies if I miss comments over there. I should have charged it before we started. So there is our band. I'll just turn that over and firm it and let that dry off a bit, let it skewer. Then I've got some layers. I've got another layer of pecan pie. This is a 3-inch square, and a square of boho blue on the inside. So that's going to sit across the, oh, you know what I've forgotten to do. I haven't put the outside layers on. I mentioned I had these layers here. They've got to go on either side. I love these little planes. I was tossing up whether to fussy cut them and actually use them as a feature, and then I thought, no, that would just ruin the paper. Well, not ruin it, but waste it. When I love it just as a paper. There we are. That on that side. Oh, I hope my belly band still fits now because I've made it even thicker. This is definitely a thick card. It's got lots and lots happening. And as you can see, I was right when I said that the mechanism that makes it jick or mind-blowing is the easy part. It's all the layers and everything that take the time. Okay, so there we are. So that's our, hopefully that still fits. We'll get our belly band happening. Bring in our little square of So I just want the glue on there. I don't want it all over the back. Yeah. Make sure that's straightish. Yep. Pretty good. Now, the Take to the Skies Designer Series paper has a series of these little sort of memories things. They're all in one sheet, but you can cut them up and you get different panels. This one's got a little aeroplane on it. The one I used on the original card had a little oldie-worldy globe type picture. That you only get one of each, so I've only got that one. And that's but for that one version of that, which is my preferred, I think. But I've got one version of that, so I'm going to use that one on this card. So I need to cut that down. So it's 2 3/4. Everything 2 3/4 comes up a lot with this card. 2 3/4. Chop that down a little bit. And that's going to fit on the front of our belly band. And I have another sentiment that I used on the original because the paper was light enough to be able to see a sentiment. You can see there it was happiness is the best destination. I don't know how I'm going to go trying to stamp that onto this. I suppose I could make a little sentiment box and pop it on there, but then I'd lose all my cool aeroplanes. So I'll try and just stamp it straight on there. Stamp it straight on there with just black ink. Just somewhere where there's a little bit of light paper here. Maybe about there. Looks all there. About there, I think. It's a sort of a light part of the paper, so we've got the best chance of seeing it. If it doesn't work, I will make a little sentiment box. Yeah, no, that's worked okay. So happiness is the best destination. It's not hugely noticeable, but it's fine. It's fine. You could choose to use a lighter piece of Designer Series paper if you were worried too much about that. Okay, so that's our card. There's our sentiment box. Hopefully that still fits even because I've added extra layers. Oh yeah, that does. And there's our finished card. Belly band likes to get stuck on things at the back there, but that's okay. Yeah, so there is our finished card. Oh, some bling. I thought these really cool adhesive back textured dots would be nice because they've sort of got that sort of, they look a bit like a rivet, which you'd get like in an engineering project. So I'll pop a couple of those on the front. And this little guy is done. Yeah, so they're very cool, these little textured metallic dots. As I say, a bit like a rivet. There we are. So that's our secret message card with a gift card or a travel card or whatever inside. And we've got our little extra piece, our little extra pocket in there to give it some security at the back. So there we are. So hopefully you like that one. Give it a bit of a go. As I say, that's a 5 by 5.5 by 5.5 version. If you scale it down, you can do a 5.5 by 4 version there, which is this one here. Fundamentally, all you do is you're reducing the width of each of the segments to a round number. So as you saw with this one, these were 2 3/4 wide. So 2 3/4, 5.5, 8 1/4. This one's just basically 2, 4, 6. So it's an 8-inch piece of cardstock, and everything's just 2, 4, 6. So the strips that I wove through are 2 inches wide. So that's everything just reduces so that it's a nice even multiples of the paper you're using, or the width of the card you're using. So here we are. So I like that one. I'm going to give that one to my niece for her birthday next month. So anyway, okay, as I say, you may have to give your recipient a little bit of a tutorial on how to use it, but once they've done it a few times, I'm sure they'll be fine. And it's a buzz to give that little secret message in there. I think it's really cute. Okay, so that's the card for today. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. As I say, I'll pop all the instructions up on Facebook and YouTube so you can see them. I've got my little duck version, I've got my travel version, and the one you've all seen on the Facebook page is the gorgeous Mediterranean blooms version as well. So lovely. Give that one a go. I'd love to see, if you give that a go, pop it up onto the Facebook page. I'd love to see what people come up with because I think it's got so many possibilities. Just before I lose you, and I will pop these up over the next couple of weeks again when I do videos. I have designed next month's Fun Fold class. The theme for this month's class is easel cards, and I found some easel card variations that we've never used before. So these are ones that are new to me. You've probably seen them, but they're new to me. We've got an upright easel, and I think it's called upright because this front one sits a lot higher and a lot straighter than a normal easel. So that's an upright easel. Again, I've used the ephemera packs to decorate a couple of these. So yeah, if you want to do it exactly the same as me, you'll have to grab the ephemera packs. They're available separately, but that's a coffee version of that one. This one was a side easel card, so it's just the easel on the side there. And again, we're using the Mediterranean blooms for that one. So there'll be a bit of fussy cutting there, fussy cutting alert there. There'll be some fussy cutting for you ladies that hate the fussy cutting. And this was what they called a side easel card. It actually sits up like that. So the easel part is to the side, not at the bottom as it is generally. So that's the 3 cards for my Fun Fold class or for the month of July. So I'll pop the details of that up on my Facebook page soon. But if you'd like to get onto that one, and you can be part of my VIP club, or you can just buy them as a one-off. It's not a problem. They just you can go month by month, or you can join the VIP club and pay in advance and set and forget, so to speak. Okay, so thank you very much for that. I was wandering off there with my words a bit. I've moved backwards so I can get everything on the screen. So there you go. So that's the Fun Fold for July. Please reach out if you think you're interested in that one as well. But anyway, here's our cards that we've done today. Hope you enjoyed that. As I say, any questions about anything that you've seen today, please reach out. Happy to help you with any orders or anything like that you've seen, or measurements or anything. So yeah, great to see you all today. Have a great week, and I'll see you all again